Hello and welcome to Solving Equations. So you should have gotten a new note packet and I'm going to solve you through some of these problems but probably not all of them. So this is what it should look like. Woo. All right, let's answer this inverse operation question. So this is how you solve an equation. You use the inverse operation. So if I give you addition, what is the inverse operation? Subtraction. And likewise, if I asked you subtraction, what is the inverse operation? It would be addition. So they undo each other, as it says here on our notes page. Okay, so if I wanted to zero out a positive number, I would subtract. If I wanted to zero out a negative number, I would add. And then there's multiplication. If I asked you the inverse operation for multiplication, what would that be? It would be division. They again undo each other. Okay, so they are going to be used to help us isolate the variables. I like the steps that are typed out for you. The first one says to locate the variable. That's important. Always know what side of the equation your variable is on before you proceed. Second, what's being done? It says what operation is tied to your variable. I'm going to ask you what is happening to the variable. And then on step 3, we're going to try to undo that. We're going to use the inverse operation on both sides of the equal sign to solve our equation. All right, so let's go ahead and look at number 2 here, and let's go through those steps. All right, so first, where is your variable? Okay, so there is your variable y. What is happening to the variable? There's a positive 2. Okay, I know it's positive because I look in front of the number. Okay, it's not because of the plus sign. You look in front of the number. Since it's a positive 2, to zero that out, I subtract 2. Okay, would you agree that 2 minus 2 is 0? Okay, so that's zeroed out, leaving us with the y all by itself. Okay, now think of a teeter-totter. If I take 2 pounds off of one side, I got to take 2 pounds off of the other side to keep it balanced. So whatever I do to one side of that equal sign, I have to do to the other. Now I have a negative 4 minus 2. Keep, change, change. Same signs, add and keep. I have a negative 6. All right, the last step that I didn't mention yet is to check your solution. In the beginning stages of equations, this is really important to make sure we're doing things that need to be done. So if I take 2 plus y, replace that y with our solution, I have negative 6. So 2 plus negative 6, different sign, subtract, keep the sign of the larger number, then you'll be exact. Okay, so I got the negative 4 that is up top. So my solution is correct. Okay, I went ahead and turned the page, so I'm on the back side now. We're going to solve a couple more here before we go down to the bottom and translate. All right, so let's look at number 7 and solve this. So step 1 says find that variable. Okay, so put your finger on your y and then ask yourself what's happening to our variable. Well, it says to subtract 5. So here's where the inverse operation comes in. If I add 5, I'm doing the opposite. So a negative 5 plus 5 equals 0. So I zeroed that out, leaving with just a y on the left side. Okay, I got my teeter-totter. Whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other side of that equal sign. Okay, this one's an easy one. 4 plus 5 is 9. All right, let's check. 9 minus 5 is 4. Okay, so that's just a way to check your solution. So 9 is your solution, also known as answer. All right, let's try another one. Let's go down here to number 12. I see the variables on the right side of the equation. Do not let that bother you, okay? We still look for that variable, okay? So we found the a. What's happening to the variable? It's being subtracted by 3. So the inverse operation is to add 3. Okay, teeter-totter, whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. Okay, so the equal sign is that fulcrum. Okay, so I'm going to add 3 to both sides. Negative 3 plus 3 is 0, leaving with a lonely a on the right side this time. And then a negative 15 plus 3. Different sign, subtract the two numbers. Keep the sign of the higher number, then you'll be exact. So negative 12 is my solution, answer to my equation. And I can check. Let's see, the solution was negative 12 plus 3 equals, negative 3, sorry, and that does equal the negative 15. Whew, that was a close one. All right, I think I got time for one more. All right, let's look at this one. The variable's back on the left side for 13, but I see that negative. People get nervous with negatives. I know I do. So I found my variable. W is my variable. What's happening to the variable? Well, it's adding a negative 4. And if I want to zero out a negative 4, I'm actually going to have to add 4. Okay, some people see that plus sign by the variable and they think the inverse operation is to subtract. And that's not going to help us on this one. So if I take a negative 4 plus 4, that's how I get that zeroed out, leaving me with the lonely W. All right, teeter-totter, if I add 4 to one side, I have to add 4 to the other side of the equal sign. Okay, no integer rule here, it's just 19 plus 4. So 23, boom, boom. I can check. Negative 4 plus 23, that is an integer rule. Different sign, subtract. Keep the sign of the higher number, then you'll be exact. Okay, I think I have 2 minutes left here. I know translating was not everyone's favorite thing when we did that with our expression unit. So I want to translate a couple of these with you, and then maybe you can solve the equation on your own. Okay, so the sum, that means to add. A number and 6 is our keyword for equals 32. Does that make sense? Sum, add the two things together. Okay, number 16, 12 increased by a number is 24. So 12 increased means to add, and is to equal. So 12 plus a number is 24. So equals 24. All right, 17. The difference, okay, that's subtraction. I gotta be careful because it's not commutative. The difference between a number and 8. So it listed number first, 8 second, and then is our equal sign, 11. This time the is in the front. So 7 is, so that equals to a number plus 6. All right, so translating the words into an equation. It does say to solve, so on your homework, make sure you solve the equation after you write it. All right, thanks for watching.